I want you to just close your eyes for a second. Imagine a scenario. It's one that I think every single traveler at some point has experienced, and it's visceral.
Oh, absolutely.
You step off a bus, the air is thick, maybe a little dusty, definitely hot, and the noise hits you immediately. You've got horns blaring, vendors shouting, all these rickshaw engines idling.
Total sensory overload.
Exactly. Let's say you're in a place like Raebareli, or maybe you're on the outskirts of Lucknow. You check your phone, desperate for a map, and the signal bars are doing that terrifying little dance between one bar and just no service.
A dance of doom. We've all seen it.
And then it hits you, that cold, sinking feeling right in the pit of your stomach. You realize you don't actually know where you are. And much more importantly, you have absolutely no idea how to leave.
It is such a primal feeling, isn't it? That specific cocktail of excitement and just absolute dread. We call it adventure when we're planning it from our nice, safe living rooms.
Right.
But in that exact moment, standing on that street corner, it feels a lot less like a vacation and a lot more like, well, survival.
Yes, survival. That's the word. You look at your phone, maybe the battery's flashing red now, and you realize that all the Duolingo streaks in the world, all the points you've racked up, they can't save you if you can't get a human being to look at you, to understand you, and just tell you where the railway station is.
And that is the precise moment, I think, where language learning stops being this sort of academic hobby and it transitions into a vital life skill. It's the bridge we're crossing in today's deep dive. We aren't talking about, poetry or literature. We are looking at a really fascinating piece of curriculum. It's titled The Traveler's Guide to English Directions and Transport.
But we're getting super specific. We're drilling down into day 13 of this comprehensive language journey that was designed by these creators named Jais and Aisha.
Yeah, and that day 13 label is, I think, incredibly significant here. Listeners need to understand that context.
It's not day 1. This isn't chapter 1, the alphabet.
No, not at all. And that context is everything. If you look at the attrition rates of language learning, the number of people who just quit day 13 is usually right in the danger zone.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Day 1 is fun. You're learning hello and coffee, and you're feeling very accomplished,
Yeah.
But day 13 is the grind. If you are engaging with this material, it implies you have already survived 2 full weeks of practice.
You've put in the work.
You've put in the work. You've mastered the vowel sounds. You've done the polite pleasantries like, can I have the bill? Or, my name is... You've moved past that initial honeymoon phase.
So you've graduated, you're done with the safe, the air-conditioned classroom environment where the teacher speaks slowly and clearly for you.
Exactly. You are so done with sentences like, the cat is on the mat. Because let's be totally honest, the cat is on the mat is absolutely useless when you're trying to get your train in Raebareli.
Completely useless.
All right, now, the training wheels are off. This source material is all about high-stakes interactions. So the mission of this deep dive is to unpack the specific linguistic tools, the survival kit, really, that Jais and Aisha provide to make sure you never get lost again.
We're moving from that passive textbook English to something more active, something you can use on the street.
I'd call it active street-level navigation. It's all about functional fluency. That's the goal.
Functional fluency, I like that. So let's unpack this. The guide, it starts with a pretty aggressive wake-up call from Jais, the instructor. He is not coddling the learner here at all.
No, he isn't.
He literally yells, and it's in all caps in the text, "Stop scrolling."
It's a classic pattern interrupt. And he knows his audience perfectly. He knows that in the modern world, most of us consume language content very passively.
Oh, for sure. You scroll past a video on social media.
Right. You think, oh, that's a useful phrase. Maybe you even save it to a watch later playlist that, let's face it, you'll absolutely never watch.
Never. That list is a graveyard.
It is. And then you just keep scrolling to a cat video. So Jais is breaking the fourth wall here. He's reaching through the screen and saying, no, stop. You need to actually do this. You need to engage.
And he justifies that aggression, which I thought was interesting. He justifies it by listing off what the learner has already achieved. He says things like, you've painted the world in colors, or you've used opposites like a pro.
It's psychological priming. It's a great technique. He's about to ask you to do something genuinely scary. Speak to strangers in a language that's not your own. So first, he has to remind you that you are competent, that you're not starting from zero.
And then he makes it real. He grounds it geographically. He mentions specific Indian cities, Raebareli, Lucknow. He's not saying, imagine you are in Unit 4, City A.
No, he's saying you are in a real place with real chaos and, importantly, real consequences if you get it wrong. This isn't a game anymore.
Okay, so let's get into the first big segment here, the art of the approach. Or, as I was thinking of it, how to get someone's attention without looking like a terrified tourist who is about to get ripped off.
Laughs. A very important skill. This is the initiating contact phase. And the source material he calls the key phrases golden openers.
I love that branding, golden openers. It sounds like you're unlocking a secret level in a video game or something. So what's the first one? The absolute key.
It is perhaps the most essential icebreaker in the entire English language, and maybe the most underutilized by nervous learners. Excuse me. Just that.
It seems so simple, but I've seen this happen. Someone is lost, the panic sets in, adrenaline spikes, and they just walk up to a local and blurt out, train station.
Yes. And it comes off as so aggressive or demanding.
Or just weird. It treats the other person like they're a vending machine, not a human being.
Exactly. Serves a vital social function. It's a signaling mechanism. It says, I recognize I am not part of your current reality. I am about to interrupt your flow, and I'm asking for your permission to do so. It lowers the defenses of the person you're approaching.
That's a great way to put it. It's a permission slip. But the guide takes it a step further. It pairs, with a vulnerability tactic. Can you help me?
That is a very specific and very powerful psychological lever to pull. When you ask someone, can you help me?
Yeah.
You are triggering a kind of social contract.
A social contract.
Yeah. Most human beings, generally speaking, want to be helpful. It feels good. Asking for help validates them as the expert in the situation. You are the lost one, they are the knowledgeable local. It shifts the dynamic from, I'm bothering you, to, I'm giving you a chance to be a hero for 10 seconds.
That's such a good way to frame it. You aren't a nuisance, you're an opportunity for altruism.
Okay, so you've hooked them with your golden opener. Now you need the specific ask. And the source breaks this down into a kind of hierarchy based on what you need to know. We have the classic static location query.
Yeah.
Where is the...
Where is the market? Where is the hospital? Where is the ATM?
Yeah.
This is for when you know the object exists nearby, you just don't know its precise coordinates in space. It's a simple request for a location. But then there's a variation that I think is actually much more useful, especially in a city like Lucknow, where things aren't always on a perfect grid. And that's, how do I get to...
It is a subtle but absolutely crucial distinction. Where is asks for a point on a map. You might just get an answer like, it's over there, with a vague gesture.
Lux. Dreaded vague gesture.
The worst. But how do I get to asks for a process? It implies a journey. It implies complexity. It implies distance. If you ask, where is the post office? Someone might just point. If you ask, how do I get to the post office? You are prompting them to give you actual instructions. Go straight, turn left, you'll need to take a rickshaw. You're managing the quality of the answer by how you phrase the question.
That's a brilliant insight. You're preloading the question to get the kind of answer you need. And then there's the third one, the confirmation question. Is this the way to?
That's for when you're already moving. You think you're on the right path, but you need that little dopamine hit of reassurance.
We all need that.
We do. Is this the way to the bus stand? It's a very low friction question because the person just has to say yes or no. You aren't asking them for a whole speech. It's a quick check-in.
Now, here's something I absolutely loved. There is a very modern addition in this source material. JS includes the phrase, can you show me on Google Maps?
Yes. This is brilliant because it acknowledges our current reality. We rarely navigate purely by voice anymore. We're all basically cyborgs. We have our phones grafted to our hands.
Sure.
But sometimes the map is wrong or the GPS is drifting or you can't orient yourself to the little blue dot. Asking someone to bridge that gap, to take their physical lived knowledge of the neighborhood and apply it to your digital screen, is a very sophisticated contemporary interaction.
It solves the accent problem too. If you can't quite understand their pronunciation of a street name, looking at where their finger lands on your screen is a universal language. You can't misinterpret a pointing finger.
Precisely. It turns the interaction from a simple question and answer into a collaborative problem-solving session. Let's figure this out together.
Okay, so then Isha, the other voice in the source material, she adds what she calls polite extras.
These are the social lubricants, the things that make the whole machine run smoothly.
Right. We're talking please, thank you so much. And my personal favorite for diffusing any potential tension. I'm sorry to bother you.
I'm sorry to bother you is a linguistic superpower. In a busy city, everyone is in a rush. Everyone has somewhere to be. If you acknowledge that you are, in fact, a nuisance up front, people are paradoxically less annoyed. You've apologized for the offense before you've even committed it.
It's so disarming. You've already taken the blame.
Completely. And the guide makes a very important point that this isn't just about etiquette classes or being proper. It's strategic. It's a survival tool. Well, if you are rude or abrupt, people might just give you a vague answer to get rid of you. Yeah, it's that way. Brush you off. But if you are polite, if you lead with, "I'm so sorry to bother you, please, could you tell me where the metro is?" They're much more likely to stop, to actually think, and to give you the detailed, correct answer you actually need. Politeness buys you cognitive bandwidth from the other person.
It buys you a few extra seconds of their attention. Okay, so we've done it. We've successfully stopped someone. We haven't been yelled at. We've been polite. And we've asked our question. How do I get to the market? Now comes the part that honestly scares me the most.
The reply.
The answer you. And this is segment 2, decoding the landscape. The input phase.
Because it doesn't matter how perfect your grammar was in the question if you have no idea what go straight and turn left at the petrol pump actually means in the real world.
Right. This is where the cognitive load just spikes for the learner. Speaking is output. You control the speed, the words, but listening is input. You are completely at the mercy of the speaker.
And the source breaks this down very logically. It starts with core direction words, beginning with the most basic movement verbs. Go straight or go straight ahead.
And the source adds a specific measurement to it. Go straight for 200 meters. Now, let's be honest, does anyone, anywhere, actually know what 200 meters looks like on a city street?
Well, almost never. I certainly don't pace it out. But it functions as a relative instruction. It means don't turn immediately. It implies a certain duration. It means walk for a little while before you start looking for the next landmark. It sets an expectation.
Okay, that makes sense. Then we have the fundamental directional shifts, turn left, turn right, and then we get to the positional prepositions. These are the killers for language learners.
They really are.
Next to opposite, behind, in front of.
Opposite is the one that causes the most confusion in my experience with learners. The shop is opposite the school. In some languages or logical frameworks, people instinctively look next to the school.
Right, on the same side of the street.
Exactly. But opposite implies a relationship across a divide, usually a street. You have to literally turn your back to the school to see the shop. It's a mirror image across that line. It requires a mental flip.
And behind is another tricky one. The bank is behind the petrol pump. You have to visualize the 3D space. You have to assume you need to walk past and then around the first object to see the second one. It's not always visible from the starting point.
But here is where the source material gets really, really authentic to the Indian context, and I think this is its greatest strength. We need to talk about the landmarks section.
Yes. This list felt so incredibly real to me. This did not feel like a textbook written in London or New York.
It absolutely isn't. In many Western cities, particularly in grid systems like you'd find in the U.S. or in modern developments, navigation is, well, it's mathematical.
Go to 4th and Main, go north for 2 blocks.
Exactly. It's abstract. But in India, and honestly in many older cities all over the world, navigation is narrative. It's a story. It's a sequence of visual cues you have to follow.
Let's look at the actual list in the guide. Traffic light, okay, standard. But then, temple, mosque, petrol pump, big tree.
Big tree. I absolutely love that big tree is in there as an official navigational marker.
It sounds funny to an outsider, doesn't it? Okay, you're going to go down here and then turn left at the big tree. But in Ray Borelli, that is a completely legitimate high-fidelity instruction.
It's probably the most reliable instruction you could get. Street signs rust, they get twisted around by the wind, they get covered by movie posters or political banners. But a big tree or a temple or that red building that everyone knows, these are permanent anchors in the community's shared mental map.
The source also mentions big hoarding, which for our listeners is the common Indian English term for a large billboard.
And those are perfect landmarks. They're huge, they're lit up at night, they're unmissable. It's all about high visibility markers.
It's exactly what you called functional fluency earlier. Knowing the academic word for intersection or boulevard is fine, but knowing that petrol pump is the keyword that gets you to your hotel is what actually matters.
Precisely. If you are walking down the street looking for a sign that says Mahatma Gandhi Road, you might walk for 5 miles because the sign fell down 10 years ago. If you're looking for the yellow mosque, you'll find your turn every single time. The guide is teaching you to read the city, not just the map.
And beyond the physical landmarks, the source also touches on the concept of measuring the journey itself, time versus distance.
Yes, about 5 minutes by walk versus 10 minutes by auto. This is crucial information. It's not just distance, it's effort.
And the vague, but absolutely essential code words, not far versus quite far.
Quite far is a very polite Indian way of saying you are absolutely crazy if you try to walk this.
It's a warning.
It is. The guide explicitly says it's quite far better take a bus or cab. That is actionable advice embedded right there in the vocabulary. It's not just a description of distance, it's a direct instruction on your next move. It's a warning label.
So if it is quite far, you need wheels. You need to get off your feet. Which leads us perfectly into our third segment, the mechanics of transport.
Getting around. The actual logistics of movement.
And the source material provides a really comprehensive vocabulary list here. It starts with the bus, but it makes a really nuanced distinction that I think is important between a bus stop and a bus stand.
Which is subtle, but so important. A bus stop is usually just a pause on the route. It could be nothing more than a pole in the ground with a sign on it, but a bus stand is often a terminus, a major hub where buses wait and idle.
Right, it's the origin point.
Exactly. If you're looking for a specific long-distance bus to, say, Lucknow, you almost certainly want the stand, not some random stop on the side of the road where the bus might already be full and just breeze right past you without stopping.
And the guide teaches you the crucial query for that situation. Does this bus go to Lucknow?
That's the save yourself from a massive headache question. Never, ever, ever get on a vehicle without verbally confirming the destination, even if the sign on the front says so. Signs can be old. Routes change. Drivers get reassigned. Always ask.
Good advice for travel anywhere. Then we move to the train system. Words like railway station, platform. The source uses specific real-world examples like Charbagh railway station. And I like the detail of Platform 3. It makes it really specific. You're not just going to the station, you're navigating the internal maze of the station itself.
And then, of course, the cultural staple. You cannot have a discussion about transport in India without talking about the auto.
The auto rickshaw, the tuk-tuk, the three-wheeled chariot of the Indian streets.
The backbone of urban transport. And the guide has a very specific piece of pragmatic advice here. It says, take an auto to the station, it's cheaper.
It's not just teaching you words, it's teaching you the hierarchy of transport costs. Taxis are for the long airport run. Autos are for zipping around town. It's economic literacy alongside language literacy.
And speaking of cars, it does mention taxis and cabs, but it specifically references the modern apps, Ola and Uber. The example sentence is, I'll book an Ola to the airport.
This is so important because it changes the language you need. If you book an Ola, you don't need to negotiate the price. The app handles that. The language you need is for coordinating the pickup. Hello, yes, I am standing at the main gate. It's a totally different set of linguistic muscles than hailing a yellow cab on the street and haggling.
That's a great point. And for air travel, we get the specific name, a mousy airport, and the word terminal. And again, the guide provides that crucial distance context. It notes the airport is about 80 kilometers from Raebareli.
Which immediately reinforces the transport choice you have to make. You are not taking a rickshaw for 80 kilometers. Your spine would never forgive you. You need a cab or a long-distance bus.
But I think what's most useful is that beyond just the nouns, the names of the vehicles, the source provides what it calls useful travel sentences. This is where we get into the real logistics.
The administrative layer of travel, I'd call it.
That's a perfect description. And the most important one is about money. How much is the fare?
Or more specifically, how much is the fare to the station? You absolutely cannot survive without this phrase. If you get into an auto without asking this first, you are essentially writing a blank check and handing it to the driver.
You really are.
Yeah.
And then there's this one, which is a real pro tip. Where can I get a prepaid auto?
Oh, that is such a game changer. That's next level knowledge.
It shows a level of sophistication.
Mm-hmm.
For listeners who don't know, a prepaid auto counter is often a government-regulated booth at a station or airport where you pay a fixed official price to a clerk, not the driver. You get a receipt. If you ask for this, you're signaling, I know how the system works. Do not even try to hustle me. It's a power move.
It totally is. Then there's the time element. Questions like, what time is the next train to Kanpur? And of course, how long will it take?
And did you catch the little bit of editorializing from the source about the metro system?
Yes. The metro is very fast and clean. Aisha is definitely a fan.
And that's useful.
Yeah.
It creates a positive association. It tells the learner, hey, if you had a choice and there's a metro line, pick the metro. It's safe, it's predictable, it's often air-conditioned, and it's usually very easy for a beginner to navigate because all the signs are in English as well as the local language.
So we've got the approach down. We understand the landmarks, the big trees, and the temples, and we've picked our vehicle. Now, the source material does something really cool. It stops just listing words and starts running a full-on simulation. Segment 4, the dialogues.
It moves from theory to practice. This is where we see the messy, back-and-forth reality of a real conversation.
Let's break down dialogue 1, the street encounter.
This is the baseline interaction. The learner asks, "Excuse me, where is the nearest bus stop?" The local replies, "Go straight, then turn left at the temple. It's on your right."
Classic. And then the learner confirms with, "Is it far?" And the local reassures them, "No, only 5 minutes by walk."
It's a perfect contained loop. You have the request, then the instruction with a landmark, the temple, and then the confirmation of distance and effort. It sounds so simple when we read it out like that, but think about the cognitive steps involved.
Right.
You have to hear the word temple, visualize it in your mind, hear the word right, map that to your body, hear 5 minutes, and make the decision to walk. It's a very complex mental dance happening in just a few seconds.
Then we get to dialogue 2, which is where the drama happens, the negotiation.
Ah, yes. At the auto stand. This is the battle of wits.
And the source does something I love here. It explicitly points out a bilingual bridge. The learner starts with, "Baya, kitna lagega."
I love this inclusion so much.
Yeah.
Bhaiya means brother in Hindi, and in India, you don't generally call a driver or sir. You call him Bhaiya. It immediately establishes a connection. It's respectful, but also familiar. Using that one word instantly marks you as someone who isn't a fresh off the plane, first time in India tourist. It just, it softens the whole interaction.
And the phrase, kitna lagega, literally, how much will it take, is the common Hindi colloquialism. The guide provides the English translation, how much to the railway station, but encouraging that little bit of local flavor is a really nice touch. It builds rapport.
It shows you've made an effort. Then we get the transaction details. The driver quotes a price, 80 rupees. The learner agrees. Okay, let's go.
It simulates the agreement. It's not just about language. It's about concluding a business deal. Now, in reality, there might be a whole step in between where you counter with 50 rupees and he laughs at you.
That's, of course.
But for a day 13 learner, we'll accept the fixed price and just get in the auto. No haggling yet.
We'll save the advanced haggling module for day 20. The whole walk away pretending you don't actually want the ride is a very advanced skill.
Definitely. Okay, then we have dialogue 3, the station scenario.
The setting is specific. The mission is to find the Lucknow Express.
The learner asks about the platform. The clerk replies, platform number 4. But then they ask the universal anxiety question for all travelers everywhere.
Is the train on time?
Yes. The most crucial question, the difference between on time and delayed can change your entire existence for the next 3 hours. It determines if you have time to buy a snack or if you need to be sprinting for the door.
And the staff confirms, yes, it's on time. You can practically hear the sigh of relief through the script. The mission is a success.
Now, after walking the learner through these dialogues, Jace throws down a challenge. It's called the pause and practice.
This is the active learning component, and it's vital. He asked the listener to physically close their eyes and imagine they're in a Raebareli right now.
I love this visualization technique, he says. You need to get to the railway station. And he tells you to speak out loud, not in your head, out loud.
And the steps are clear. Ask someone for directions, understand their reply, thank them, and then turn around and ask an auto driver for the fare. And he actually leaves a 40 to 50 second silence in the audio track for the learner to physically do it.
That's so awkward though, right? Sitting in your room talking to an imaginary auto driver?
It is incredibly awkward. And that is exactly the point. If you can't get the words out of your mouth when you are alone in your safe, quiet room, you definitely will not be able to get them out when you are standing on a noisy, chaotic street corner with people staring at you and a bus honking right in your face.
Okay.
You have to break that barrier of silence. You have to feel the words in your mouth physically. You have to build the muscle memory.
That's like a dress rehearsal for the real play.
Okay, so we've practiced. Now we need to consolidate all this. Segment 5 is all about the homework.
But first, Aisha provides a must-save cheat sheet. It's a great little summary. It effectively categorizes everything we've learned into 3 simple buckets: asking, directions, and transport.
It's a great review tool, but the actual homework assignment for day 13 is pretty rigorous. This is not a fill-the-blanks worksheet.
No, it is very production heavy. The first part is written. Write 8 sentences asking for directions to different places, a market, an ATM, your favorite shop. That helps lock in the structure and the grammar. But the second part is the real test, the recording task. Record yourself for 120 seconds.
This is the tough one. You have to pretend you're lost. Ask for directions to the railway station. Imagine the reply. Thank the person, then turn and negotiate with an imaginary driver.
Why recording? Why not just say it out loud again? Why do I have to actually put it on tape?
Because when we speak in our heads, we sound perfect. We sound like native speakers. Even when we just speak out loud to the air, we often don't catch our own mistakes. But when you record yourself and play it back, that's when you hear the truth.
You hear the hesitation.
You hear the hesitation, you hear the ums and ahs, you hear that your pronunciation of the word station was a little bit off. It bridges the gap between what you think you sound like and what you actually sound like. It's painful. Nobody likes hearing the sound of their own voice,
right.
But it's the single fastest way to improve pronunciation and fluency.
And the final piece of homework is the real-world application. This is the last step. The source says, next time you go out, even to a nearby shop in your own neighborhood, use the phrase, excuse me, where is?
Even if you know exactly where the milk is.
Exactly. Go to your local grocery store, you walk past the milk aisle every single day. But today, stop a staff member and say, excuse me, where's the milk?
It builds the muscle memory of the interaction itself. It desensitizes you to the small fear of approaching and asking.
Yeah.
So that when you are actually lost in Lucknow and you actually need the train station, the phrase is ready. It's not locked away in your brain. It's right there on the tip of your tongue. You've already done it 10 times in low-stakes situations.
Before we wrap up, the source gives us a little tease, a little preview for day 14.
Jobbing for clothes.
Sizes, colors, bargaining, all the phrases like, it's too small, do you have this in blue, it's too expensive.
That is going to be another essential skill set for any traveler. Navigating a changing room and navigating price tags is a whole different kind of vulnerability than navigating a street. It's about personal space and money.
So let's step back for a second and look at this whole lesson. At day 13 as a whole, we've gone through the golden openers, the narrative landmarks, the modes of transport, the simulations. What's the big takeaway here for you? What's the final thought for our listener?
I think if we connect this to the bigger picture of the language journey, it's really profound. Think about it. On day 1, you were probably just learning A is for apple. You were a passive observer of the language. You were looking at pictures in a book.
And now, just 13 days later,
by day 13, according to this curriculum, you are standing at a busy crossing in Lucknow. You are looking left, you are looking right. You are actively negotiating a fare in a foreign language. You are navigating a complex, chaotic, real-world urban environment using tools you didn't have just 2 weeks ago.
That represents a massive leap, not just in knowledge, but in confidence.
It's all about confidence. Language isn't just about words or memorizing grammar rules. It's about agency. It's about freedom. It's about the confidence to stand in the middle of that chaos and know that you are not helpless. You know you can find your way home.
That idea that you don't have to be afraid of getting lost anymore because you now have the tools to get unlost, that is really powerful. It turns a city from a potential threat into a playground you can explore.
Exactly. You can be more adventurous. You can wander down that interesting looking alleyway because, you can always turn around and ask someone, excuse me, how do I get back to the main road? And that knowledge, that confidence changes everything about how you travel and experience the world.
Absolutely. So to you, our listener, keep speaking out loud. Imagine those landmarks. Visualize that big tree.
And don't be afraid to ask for help. It really is the first step to finding your way.
We're rooting for you. You've got the words now. Go use them. We'll see you on the next deep dive.